let me do the transition here to what has happened with the Gitmo cases. So we have U.S. District Judge Richard Leon, and he was appointed by George W. Bush. I'm going to give you the background on it before I tell you what he ruled today. He was appointed by Bush, and he had ruled previously that Bush was right that the prisoners down in Guantanamo Bay should not come into civil courts in the United States. He said, no, they got it fine. They got it figured out in Guantanamo Bay. They don't need to bring him to court. No, I'm appointed by Bush. Yeah, of course not. Rights. Rights, right? Thank God he was overturned. The Supreme Court overturned those rulings and said, no, they do have the right to appear in front of a court in the United States. It's habeas corpus. It is the oldest right to be presented in front of a judge, a real judge, one that is not part of like a kangaroo court like they have down in Guantanamo Bay. So they present these 6 Algerians to Judge Leon. Now, it doesn't appear that they're going to get much of a fair shake because this guy never thought they should have come into the court in the first place. But here's what happens, which is interesting. Judge Leon listens to the case and then goes, wait a minute. You guys don't have any evidence on these guys, do you? And the Justice Department is like, well, yeah, that's right, we don't. But they could have committed a crime. No, wait, now, you're going to say, oh, no, he's exaggerating. I swear to you I'm not. At the end of the case, the Justice Department admitted that these guys, 5 out of the 6, the 6 is a different case, 5 out of the 6, they had said all along, had plotted against the United States of America to attack the United States. They said, yeah, sorry, our bad, we don't have any evidence of that. They didn't really do that. But we were, quote, proactive, and we arrested them and put them in Guantanamo Bay, or we detained them and put them down in Gitmo, just to make sure they wouldn't attack the United States. Do you have any evidence that they were going to attack the United States? No, we didn't get that evidence because they didn't get a chance to join the jihadist group yet. Well, if they didn't join the jihadist group and you don't have any evidence that they were going to, why the hell are they in Guantanamo Bay? And even Judge Leon, appointed by Bush, who said these guys should have never been allowed in the courtroom in the first place, was like, whoa! He's like, no, I didn't know you guys had nothing on them. They are free to go. Imagine a Bush judge saying they're free to go. He said, no, we have to release them. We've held them for 7 long years based on no evidence. We got to release them. They're not guilty. They didn't do it. Proactive arrest? Look. Here's the thing. There could be situations where you're gathering evidence. And you think, well, I don't want to have him go and, do the bombing, and then it's too late. Let me arrest them before he does the bombing, but I got evidence that he put the bomb together. I got evidence that he talked to this guy and the other guy, and they had a conspiracy. This is not a case like that. They didn't join the jihadist group. There wasn't any evidence that they were going to attack the United States, and the Justice Department admitted at the end of the case that they weren't going to. So Judge Leon says, no, they're free to go. These 5 are. The 6th one is a different situation. He's still under detention. And Judge Leon at the end said something extraordinary. He said, please, I'm asking the Justice Department, if you have any sense at all, do not appeal my decision. Why? Now, normally, my decisions get appealed all the time, right? In fact, his original decision was appealed, and the Supreme Court wound up overturning him, and a good thing they did, right? He said, because if you appeal my decision, they're going to spend another 2 years in detention when they're nowhere near guilty. And we've already kept them for 7 years. He didn't say based on a lie, but everything he said indicated based on a lie. By the way, why do they do this? Why is the Bush administration interested in locking up innocent people? Because once they locked them up, it would have been politically damaging to admit that they were wrong and release them. And I read this in an earlier article. The longer they kept them, the longer they had to keep them. Because if you keep them for 6 months, you go, oh, I made a mistake. Hey, that's one thing. But if you keep them for 5 years, then you can't admit it's a mistake. They can't admit you never had any evidence. So then you say, all right, well, I got to keep them forever until a court makes me give them up. These are the bad guys. I mean, you wonder why we don't like the Bush administration, why the rest of the world doesn't, and no one shakes his hand. This is why. Because they put political expediency above everything else. These are real people's lives. Of course, to George Bush, they're not real people. They're just Algerians.